We're back on the show. It's good to have Curt Iles with us. He's a local author. He's written a number of books. His most recent one called Trampled Grass, Stories of Courage and Hope. Curt, welcome. Good to have you this morning.
It's great to be here.
Thank you for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
12 books. That's impressive.
Love to write,
Yeah,
love to tell
obviously.
stories.
Yeah, tell a story.
Busy man.
Yeah. My first 11 books all have a Louisiana theme because I'm from Western Louisiana.
Yeah.
But my wife and I just spent 3 years in Africa.
Yeah.
And when you're a writer, you write about what happens.
And I'm sure
Trampled
it made quite an
Grass.
impression. Tell us about
okay.
tell us about the book.
Yeah. Wife Dee and I, we served in South Sudan, which is in the middle of the Civil War, and such a unforgettable time. We worked
Yeah.
with refugees, and over these refugees would say, please, when you go back to America, tell our stories.
Yeah.
Do not forget us. We heard this over and over and over. And so I kept my promise to them. I told their stories in Trampled Grass. The name comes from this African proverb they have, that when two elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. And what's happened in South Sudan, two of the leaders have went at it in the Civil War. The people have suffered, and this is their stories.
Oh.
And that's the sad story. It's the
It is.
people who just are trying to survive and trying to make a living. They're the ones that suffer the most, the ones they're caught in the middle of everything.
At the same time, we met the most gracious people in the whole world. I just love being with Africans, and we saw the best of things, we saw the worst of things.
imagine.
And Trampled Grass contains 40 stories about that.
Tell us a little bit about their culture.
Well, in South Sudan, it's a cattle culture.
Okay.
Their wealth is measured in cattle. The two main tribes, the Dinka and Nuer, measure how many cows you have. It's how you pay for your wedding. It's how you do everything. And the seeds of the Civil War go back to their fighting over cattle.
Oh,
So you
okay.
must understand cattle if you understand
To
South
understand
Sudan.
that story.
Interesting, okay.
Some of the stories in the book, is there any, just maybe a couple of them that really made an impact, that really stand out?
Yeah, there's a story, the chapter is titled Uno. I learned that the best way to make friends when you don't speak the same language is to hand out Uno cards and play Uno. You know, Uno, you
Is
can
that
play it
right?
with any language.
Yeah.
And one day I gave a set of Uno cards to this little girl named Adit, who had a club foot. That's a medical term for her foot was turned backwards. And through those Uno cards, we were able to build a relationship where she got her foot fixed. And a lot of times people talk about miracles. To me, it was a miracle to see what happened to Adit, how it affected her family, that she could walk and run again. And this all happened because of the resources that we had as missionaries for the International Mission Board.
Yeah.
So Uno is the universal language.
You can play it anywhere. You just have to take out the skip and reverse cards.
You're in Africa for 3 years. Do you plan to go back?
Plan to go back short term for sure, but my wife and I, we've moved to Alexandria.
Right.
7 grandkids live here.
So,
that's
yeah,
the
that's
best reason. we live
good-
here. But
good
we're
reason to
still
stay here.
connected to Africa and will continue to be.
Yeah.
Well, book 13 is right around the corner.
Have a novel, a Louisiana novel. I'm finishing right now.
Yeah.
With those grandkids, I'm sure that's going to be an interesting story.
It is that.
How did you get into writing, Curt?
I kept journals,
Yeah.
Mark. I've always kept journals, and so from that, my first book came, and my books became popular, and I've just kept writing. It's a joy.
Yeah.
Now, how do you go
Obviously.
about getting your books?
Of course, right now they're not in a place in Alexandria, but Amazon is
can
the
go
best
online.
place.
Yeah.
And then I have a website, creekbank.net.
Yeah, we have the
Right.
graphic up there.
That's the best way to find out about our
Wonderful.
books.
Curt, thanks for dropping by.
Thank y'all.
Good to have you. Book signing, any type of book signing that's coming up?
I have one in DeRidder on
Okay.
Saturday.
This weekend, right?
We're in DeRidder.
It's at Vintage Girls Antiques from 9 till noon on Saturday in DeRidder.
Gotcha.
That's
Curt,
the
thanks
place
for
to
coming.
be.
Good. Thank y'all.
Again, the name of the book, Trampled Grass, Stories of Courage and Hope. Good to have you.
Appreciate it.
More to come. Stay with us on this Thursday.